these constitutional and legal provisions, various judicial pronouncements on issues. The Election Commission of India has made, in fact, attempted a very comprehensive preparation for the conduct of election and also festive. When independent India held its first general and assembly elections during 51-2, not everybody was convinced of our capacity to successfully conduct the exercise. In fact, democracies in the world, then numbering maybe around 40, not everybody was convinced of our capacity to successfully conduct the exercise. In fact, democracies in the world, then numbering maybe around 40, most of them were very skeptical. But India, by conducting our elections, emerged as a, should I say, beacon light for the emerging democracies all over the world. The scale and complexity of the elections has only grown since then. The population of India increased 3.3 times between 91 and 2001 census. But there are other statistics also which have gone up sharply, as expected. Mahatma Gandhi said, democracy must, in essence, mean the art and science of mobilizing the entire physical, economic, and spiritual resources of all the various sections of people in the service of the common good of all. Keeping all this in view, this commission started preparing for elections for quite some time. We started with organizing a series of meetings with chief electoral officers of all the states and UTs in order to review various aspects of election preparedness. Video conferences with the chief secretaries, DGs, home secretaries, chief electoral officers, and police nodal officers from MHA and as well as from the states were held on 21st, 22nd, and 28th January to assess the overall law and order situation, state or UT specific areas of concern, and deliberate on the quantum of central armed police forces required. Several rounds of discussions were held with the Ministry of Home Affairs at the level of our officers, and we also had an in-depth discussion with the Union Home Secretary and his team. The Commission also held deliberations with several key departments, especially railways, in order to ensure smooth movement and facilitation during the conduct of elections. To get a first-hand knowledge of the status of poll preparedness in the states, we visited several states and UTs to review the poll preparedness. During these visits, there is a standard SOP which is followed by the Commission, and not just us, but before us also. This has been a tradition that first of all we start with interaction with the political parties. After that, we have the presentations by the CEO of the state, the police nodal officer of that state, and the central nodal officer from whichever CPF is designated for that state or UT. After that, we have a fairly in-depth interaction lasting maybe sometimes 10 to 12 hours, if not more, with the collectors, SPs, IGs, commissioners of police, wherever there is commissioner system, and all their colleagues. This is followed by a meeting with the central government regulatory departments, income tax, state excise, central excise, in order to talk about the expenditure monitoring. Then there is a meeting with the Chief Secretary, Home Secretary, and their colleagues, DGP and their colleagues. After doing all this, we report back to the media in a press conference in the state. And same process was followed this time also. While finalizing poll dates, examination schedules of various state boards, CBSE, other relevant factors like various festivals, including festivals which have religious kind of bindings, for example, when people are fasting, etc. Harvest season in certain parts of the country, as well as the inputs obtained from the weather department, are also adequately factored in. In fact, behind the scenes, I would like to tell you that our colleagues, the senior deputy commissioner and all his colleagues, they have been slogging for maybe months together to work out all these things. They do every time, they have done this time also. The Commission firmly believes that the purity of electoral roll is the foundation of credible elections. We have been constantly monitoring the health of the rolls in the country, and after the introduction of Aeronet, now we have a pan-India monitoring systems here in Delhi. The electoral rolls have been revised with reference to 11/2019 as qualifying date. Process of continuous updation shall continue till the last date of filing nominations. Total electorate in the final published roll would be in the vicinity of 900 million compared to 814.5 in 2014. This marks an increase of 84.3 million voters since 2014. There are 15 million voters in the age group of 18 to 19, 38,325 third gender others, 71,735 overseas electors, service electors more than 1.6 million, 99.36 electors have EPIC cards. 23 states and UTs have 100% EPIC coverage. The Commission continues to try the maximum coverage of EPIC still. In this direction, some major initiatives were taken. VVIP Voter Verification and Information Program launched to aid voters in checking their names in the rolls. Toll-free 1950 for checking names through SMS. Special camps organized for enrollment of eligible voters who are left out. No suo motu deletion of names after final publication of electoral roll is permitted. No deletion modification after 10 days of announcement of elections without prior approval of the Commission. Official voter slips, including those in Braille for our voters, for persons with disability voters. This is distributed or shall be distributed at least 5 days before the poll to all enrolled voters. This process is rigorously monitored and schedule of distribution shared with the public representatives. In fact, at every stage, all these things are shared with the public representatives. However, we would like to make it clear that photo voter slip issued at the last minute shall be used for guidance, but not as a proof of identity in the polling stations. We have already given a very detailed ad 2-3 days back that that slip will not be the proof of identity, but there are 11 other options which can be used to cast your vote, provided, of course, the name is on the electoral roll. A voter's guide in vernacular English is being handed over in these elections to every household, giving all relevant information. On the ballot unit below the name of the last candidate, there will be a button for nota option for the voters who do not wish to vote for any of the candidates. And as an additional measure to eliminate confusion in the minds of our voters, where you press the button in front of that there's a photograph of the candidate also, so that you make a more conscious choice, seeing the photograph of the candidate for whom you want to vote. Voter assistant booths will be set up at every polling station to extend facilitation to the voters. There are approximately 10 lakh polling stations this year as compared to 9 lakh in 2014, an increase of 10.1%. Why I have used the word approximately is that in some special circumstances, for example, exigencies of weather, snowfall, etc., with the permission of the Commission, a new or auxiliary polling station can be opened even at the last minute. Of course, before the elections. Assured minimum polling facilities at all polling stations like drinking water, electricity, shade, toilets, ramps, and a standard voting compartment are being provided. And these are monitored very closely by the Commission in the meeting with the collectors, video conferences, and the meeting with the Chief Secretary. Efforts are also being made to make voting comfortable, accessible, and sensitive, particularly to the needs of senior citizens, persons with disability, and ladies. VVPATs will be used with EVM at all polling stations in this election. Adequate number of both have been made available for smooth conduct of elections. The ballot units already reached the destination as per requirement, 23.3 lakhs. The control unit, 16.35 lakhs, and VVPATs, 17.4 lakhs. This also includes, by the way, reserve units, because as per the SOP, for example, if the control unit starts malfunctioning, then entire thing is changed. But if the VVPAT stops malfunctions, VVPAT is changed, something like that. And these are details. So accordingly, the requirement as well as the reserves have been worked out. The Commission has specified elaborate standard operating procedures for EVMs and VVPATs, including FLC, mock poll, two-stage randomization, mandatory VVPAT slip count in one randomly selected polling station per assembly segment. There are very stringent security and administrative protocols related to the machines, including their storage movement, usage, as well as handling reserve and VVPATs. In fact, after these 4 or 5 anecdotal incidents of the last 5 poll-gone states, new, fresh SOPs have been issued for making the last mile transportation, even of the reserve EVMs, very, very stringent and rigid, including the putting of monitoring by GPS, etc. The Commission has laid a lot of emphasis on widespread demonstration and awareness activities at the assembly as well as booth level in order to familiarize as many voters as possible with EVM and VVPATs. Consequent on the schedule of announcement of general elections through the press note, the MCC for the guidance of political parties and candidates comes into effect from today itself in the entire country. The Commission calls upon political parties and candidates to strictly adhere to the same. Elaborate arrangements have been made to ensure effective implementation of the MCC, and any violation, repeat, any violation will be dealt with in the strictest manner. All the candidates are required to file an affidavit in Form 26 along with their nomination papers, which includes information on their criminal antecedents, if any, assets, liabilities, and educational qualifications. As all of you are aware, recently all the proposals of the Commission regarding the expansion of and revealing more information, including of HUF, was accepted by Ministry of Law, and accordingly the Form 26 has been already revised and circulated all over. This format was amended on 26 February 2019. Non-filling of this affidavit in the prescribed format, which also now includes giving you a PAN number, if you have, will result in rejection of nomination paper. Will result in rejection of nomination paper. Candidates with criminal antecedents would be required to furnish information in this regard in the local newspapers and TV channels on 3 occasions during campaign period. Elaborate arrangements have been made to ensure peaceful conduct of elections. In order to curb noise pollution and prevent disturbance to the people at large, usage of loudspeakers is prohibited at night between 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. No loudspeakers permitted at all during the period of 48 hours ending with the hour fixed for conclusion of poll in the polling area. Commission has also directed political parties, candidates, agents to desist from using environmentally hazardous publicity materials and promote usage of eco-friendly substances for preparation of election campaign material. This is a new effort by the Commission, but this is kind of appeal to everybody to use this. CAPF, Central Police Forces, are going to be deployed in large numbers, the numbers can't be discussed, to ensure free and fair elections well in advance for area domination, especially in areas which are very, very sensitive, route marches and patrolling to enhance confidence and reassure the voters. Targeted deployment of Central Forces in all expenditure-sensitive constituencies all over the country. They will also undertake special confidence-building measures through route patrolling and route marches in order to bolster especially the confidence of weaker sections of the society, weaker and more vulnerable sections of the society. Preventive measures are being taken by the district magistrates and police authorities to maintain law and order. Commission lays equal emphasis on sufficient deployment of video cameras, CCTVs and webcasting, especially at the critical and vulnerable polling booths. All critical events shall be videographed. Commission appoints sufficient number of general observers, police observers, expenditure observers, awareness observers and micro observers to closely monitor various stages of the election process. Control rooms and complaint monitoring systems are set up with 24 hours toll-free numbers. In fact, on the issue of central observers, this time Commission has taken a conscious decision that wherever required in those states or UTs which are expenditure sensitive and wherever there are major security issues, we would be sending special observers of sufficient seniority and experience and standing and stature to these places. I will not be able to name the states because that is not something which kind of in advanced level state like this, but we have all the information and we will act accordingly. We also now have, by now, thanks to our IT and ICT wings, stringent monitoring of all critical events of the poll day using the state-of-art IT applications. This includes one of the most major, this is C-Vigil, which is an Android app which helps citizens to record any violation of Model Code of Conduct on the mobile and promptly send to election authorities for option. By the way, this was started on a trial basis during Karnataka elections in Bangalore under the direct supervision of the Commission and extended subsequently to all these 5 poll-gone states. In these 5 poll-gone states, almost 28,000 such complaints were received. A citizen can give his or her name and number, and the authority on the other end is duty-bound, no options, to report back within 100 minutes the action being taken, proposed to be taken, etc. If a particular complainant feels vulnerable or is making a complaint about, say, large cash transaction happening somewhere and doesn't want his or her name to be revealed, in that case, the Commission will get it published in the local newspapers so that he or she becomes aware of the action taken and her privacy also protected. This is a major tool of citizen empowerment. And it is really the experience of these 5 poll-gone states. We are really hopeful that now when it is used pan-India, it will kind of add another dimension to the empowerment of our citizens. We also have started a PWD app for persons with disability for registration, modification, as well as to ask for doorstep facilities and wheelchair on the day of poll. We already have introduced and we kind of monitored very closely that all the permissions can be obtained on Suvidha candidate app and they can also track their status. Samadhan is an integrated web portal for registering and resolving citizen information, suggestions, feedbacks and complaints. This is another way of getting the feedback. As you are aware, the Commission for many years, under one of its former CECs, had started systematic voters education and electoral participation. That called SWEEP. This program is basically for dissemination, advocacy and communication. And for this, comprehensive measures are undertaken for enhancing our contact with the voters and increasing their participation in this largest festival of democracy, Desh Ka Mahatyauhar. This is being personally monitored by steered and monitored at the level of bureaucracy in the Commission by senior DEC, Administration and Planning and his other colleagues, and Commission itself takes very regular account of this. Comprehensive measures are also being taken to reach out to the voters in the remotest corners through folk art, festivals, local festivals, Nukkad Nataks, and this time also we've started extensive use of community radio, and we are also embarking on the area of how to kind of, besides the print and electronic media, how to kind of enlarge our outreach through social media. The Commission has always considered engagement, considered media as an important ally and a rather potent force multiplier in ensuring an effective and efficient election management. Hence, the Commission has directed all CEOs of the poll-going states to have positive and progressive engagement and interaction with the media. Commission also requests the media to play a positive, proactive and constructive role in supplementing and facilitating our efforts towards delivery of free and fair elections. The media certification and monitoring committees have already been constituted at all the states and districts to deal with the problem of paid news and other media-related violations and pre-certification of political advertisements on electronic media. An additional member, a social domain media expert, is included now in the membership of the MCMC, this Media Certification and Monitoring Committee at the state and district level, so as to get inputs from his or her side. Candidates are required to furnish details of their social media account. All political advertisement on social media will also require pre-certification. All expenditure on campaigning advertisement on social media is to be included in the election expenditure account. All provisions of Model Code of Conduct shall also apply to the content being posted on social media by candidates and political parties. And based on the recommendations made by the committee appointed by the Commission regarding the further enlargement of Section 126 of RPA in sync with the new media and deliberations made with the various other stakeholders, social media platforms, the major steps are as follows. The intermediaries, viz. Facebook, Twitter, Google and YouTube, have committed in writing to ensure that any political advertisement published on their platforms will be certified from MCMC. Some IT applications are also being thought of to streamline it further and make the process less cumbersome. In fact, Commission has taken a stock of the IT applications being developed by our team, and maybe we'll introduce as a pilot project in some states to start with. Google and FB have also announced verification of political advertisers and ad archives. With reference to advertisement buying, social media platforms have committed to implement pre-certification, as I said earlier. To keep a check on election violations and menace of fake news and hate speech during the election period, social media platforms have told us that they have appointed dedicated grievance officers to take necessary and prompt action against the contents published on their platforms. Social media platforms have committed to take action on any content reported by designated officers of ECI also, which violates various electoral laws. Internet and Mobile Association of India, in consultation with ECI, is formulating a set of code of ethics for intermediary online platforms. This is a work in progress. Now I will start reading what you all have been waiting for. हिंदी भी आती है और हिंदी का वर्जन आपको मिलेगा जब आपको प्रेस नोट मिलेगा. इंग्लिश के साथ साथ हिंदी का भी मिलेगा. इंग्लिश के साथ साथ हिंदी का भी मिलेगा जी. हिंदी हिंदुस्तानी सब आते हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं. Anyway, I'll read out the proposed phase 1. Before that, I would like to inform all of you that this time, instead of 9 phases, we have 7 phases of election. Phase 1, date of issue of gazette notification. Notification होने के gazette notification होने का दिन 18/3/2019 Monday. Phase 1, last date of nomination, आखिरी तारीख nomination की 25/3/2019 Monday. Okay. Last date of nominations 25th March 2019 Monday. Date for scrutiny of nominations 26th March 2019 Tuesday. Last date for withdrawal of candidature 28th March Thursday. Date of poll first phase 11th April Thursday. Date of counting 23rd March Thursday. 23rd May 2019. Sorry. Or date before election shall be completed 27th May 2019. Phase 2. Date of issue of gazette notification 19th March. Last day of nomination 26th March. Date for scrutiny of nomination 27th March. Last date of withdrawal 29th March. Date of poll 18th April. Date of counting same 23rd May. Phase 3. Date of issue of notification 28th March. Last day of nomination 4th April. Date of scrutiny 5th April. Last date of withdrawal of candidature 8th April. Date of counting, of course, 23rd. Date of poll 18th April. No, we are sending you all this by, after I have read it through, you are getting it out by soft copy, almost right away. I'll read out the phase 2 again. Okay. No, I'll read out the phase 2 again because she's asked for it.
Sir, hello.
Phase 3, okay. Thank you. Phase 3. Phase 3, date of issue of gazette notification 28th March. Last date, we'll come to that after this. We'll come to that after this. That is the second statement. Last date of nomination, 24th April. Phase 3, date of scrutiny, 5th April. Last date for withdrawal of candidature, 8th April. Date of counting, 23rd May. Date of counting, date of poll, 23rd April. Phase 4, 23rd April. 23rd April. Is it clear now? Phase 4, date of issue of notification, 2nd April. In fact, the most important are 2 dates that I can give you instead of giving you 7 dates. The date of poll, 29th April. And a date of counting, same. Phase 5, date of issue of gazette notification, 10th April. Date of poll, 6th May. Phase 6, date of issue of gazette notification, 16th April. Date of poll, 12th May. Phase 7, date of issue of gazette notification, 22nd April. Date of poll, 19th May. And all, sorry, I'll repeat the date of poll. First phase, 11th April. Second phase, 18th April. Third phase, 23rd April. Fourth phase, 29th April. Fifth phase, 6th May. Sixth phase, 12th May. Phase 7, 19th May. Am I clear now? And all countings, without, no need to say, but I am repeating, 23rd May. Now the Lok Sabha state-wise details if you want, or otherwise I'll just tell you that in phase 1, there are total 543 constituencies, as you are all aware. Phase 1 is 91. In 20 states, phase 1 is 91 in 20 states. Phase 2 is 97 in 13 states. Phase 3 is, phase 1 is 91 constituencies in 20 states. Is it clear? Phase 2 is 97 constituencies in 13 states. Is it clear? Phase 3 is 115 constituencies in 14 states. When I say states here, it also means states and UTs. Phase 5 here, phase 4 is 71 constituencies in 9 states. Now, 71 constituencies in 9 states. Phase 5 is 51 constituencies in 7 states. Phase 6 is 59 constituencies in 7 states. Phase 7 is 59 constituencies in 8 states. You want me to read it out once more? Phase 1, 91 constituencies, 20 states. Phase 2, 97 constituencies, 13 states. Phase 3, 115 constituencies, 14 states. Phase 4, 71 constituencies, 9 states. Phase 5, 51 constituencies, 7 states. Phase 6, 59 constituencies, 7 states. And Phase 7, 59 constituencies, 8 states. The notification, the formal notification of by-elections, all the seats, etc., is being made separately today itself. Jammu Kashmir. States States going in single phase. Andhra, Arunachal. Before now reading further, it must be clear that they will be overlapping. Same state would be named maybe in 2 phases or 3 phases. But still I am reading, I start reading now. States going in single phase, Andhra, Arunachal, Goa, Gujarat, Andhra, Arunachal, Goa, Gujarat, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, Kerala, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Punjab, Sikkim, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, I said Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Uttarakhand, Andaman Nicobar, Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, all right. You have waited for so long, I'll repeat. Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttarakhand, or you want me to repeat from the beginning? Andaman Nicobar, Dadra Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, Lakshadweep, Delhi, Pondicherry, Chandigarh. In all 22 states going in single phase. States undergoing 2 phases. Karnataka, Manipur, Rajasthan, Tripura. States undergoing 3 phases. Assam, Chhattisgarh. States undergoing 4 phases. Jharkhand. 3rd phase, Assam, Chhattisgarh. 3 phases. 4 phases, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha. Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Odisha. 5 phases, Jammu Kashmir. 6th phase, no state. 7th phase, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal. And now I'll read out once more. First phase, 22 states and UTs. Second phase, 4 states and UTs. 2 phases, 4 states. 3 phases, 2 states. 4 phases, 4 states. 5 phases, 1 state. 7th phase, 3 states. You see, the issue also is that there has to be ensured the movement of the CPFs from one place to the other, and they go by trains, etc., and then they require some time for initial settling down, which is how all this has been done.
Now
Jammu Kashmir.
No, before that, sir, each state and which are the states and the date of polling.
Oh, we have it.
No, please.
Sorry?
Please read the date.
Sir. It's being sent to you now.
No, what are the
copy? Just now.
Sir, 7 phases states.
That's the most important basic information.
Nobody knows.
Like Andhra is going to on which date?
Phase 1, Andhra, all the 25 seats. Phase 1, 11th April. It has been said 4 or 5 times, I'll say it again. 11th April, 25. Now I'll read state-wise, please. Andhra, first, now I'm reading phase 1, right? 11th April. Andhra, 25. Arunachal, 2. Assam, 5. Bihar, 4. Andhra 25, Arunachal 2, Assam 5, Bihar 4, Chhattisgarh 1, Jammu Kashmir 2, Maharashtra 7, Manipur 1, Meghalaya 2, Mizoram 1, Nagaland 1, Odisha 4, Sikkim 1, Telangana 17, Tripura 1, Uttar Pradesh 8, Uttarakhand 5, West Bengal 2, Andaman Nicobar 1, Lakshadweep 1, total 91. Am I clear now? Phase 2, Assam 5. As said earlier, phase 2 starts from 18th April. Assam 5, Bihar 5, Chhattisgarh 3, Jammu Kashmir 2, Karnataka 14, 1-4, Maharashtra 10, Manipur 1, Odisha 5, Tamil Nadu 39, Tripura 1, Uttar Pradesh 8, West Bengal 3, Puducherry 1, total 97. Phase 3, starting from 23rd April, Assam 4, Bihar 5, Chhattisgarh 7, Gujarat 26, Goa 2, Jammu Kashmir 1, Karnataka 14, Kerala 20, Maharashtra 14, Odisha 6, UP Uttar Pradesh 10, West Bengal 5, Dadra and Nagar Haveli 1, Daman and Diu 1, total 115 spanning 14 states and UTs. Phase 4 starting 29th April. Bihar 5, Jammu Kashmir 1, Jharkhand 3, Madhya Pradesh 6, Maharashtra 17, Odisha 6, Rajasthan 13, Uttar Pradesh 13, West Bengal 8. 5 was phase 3. 71 across 9 states. Phase 6. Phase 5, sorry. Phase 5, Bihar, 6th May. Bihar, 5. Jammu Kashmir, 2. Jharkhand, 4. Madhya Pradesh, 7. Rajasthan, 12. Uttar Pradesh, 14. West Bengal, 7. Total, 51. Phase 6, starting 12th May. Bihar, 8. Haryana, 10. Jharkhand, 4. Madhya Pradesh, 8. Uttar Pradesh, 14. West Bengal, 8. National Capital Territory of Delhi, 7. Phase 7, starting 19th May. Total, Phase 6, 59. Phase 7, starting 19th May. Chhattisgarh, 8. Bihar, 8. Not Chhattisgarh, Bihar, I stand corrected. Jharkhand, 3. Madhya Pradesh, 8. Rajasthan, 13. Punjab, 13. Not Rajasthan. Rajasthan is over already. Punjab, 13. West Bengal, 9. Chandigarh, 1. And UP, 13. Himachal, 4. Total, 59. This is the states.
Sir, what about the
Sorry?
Sir?
Assembly separately notification being issued.
Sir, what about the Tamil Nadu states? 21 assembly seats are lying vacant. Do you have any decision has been taken?
Decision has been taken and is being announced to the media.
We'll take the questions. Let's finish
when
first.
when we issue you the soft copy, in that each constituency will also be mentioned. Okay. Jammu Kashmir. After holding elections in Jammu Kashmir, the Commission has been continuously assessing the prevailing situation in the state, requirement of central forces and other logistics for elections, requirement of the security for the candidates, and preparedness of the state for the election on key factors, including the recent developments. The Commission had conducted several rounds of review meetings with State Administration of Jammu Kashmir, with MHA, including Home Secretary and his team. State Government of Jammu Kashmir and the Union Home Ministry had sent detailed and specific inputs to the Commission regarding holding elections in the state. In fact, we had sought the comments from the MHA quite early to assess the situation and level of preparedness. Commission had recently visited J&K and had detailed meetings with all the political parties, important central and state agencies, district authorities, Chief Secretary, DGP, and others. Based on all these inputs and recommendations from the states, state government, Home Ministry, political parties, other stakeholders, constraint of availability of central forces and other logistics, requirement of security forces for security of candidates in wake of the recent incidents of violence in the past, recent past, and keeping all other challenges in mind and keeping a totality of views, the Commission has decided at this stage to announce only schedule of the Parliament elections in Jammu Kashmir. The Commission will be regularly and on real-time basis monitoring the situation in Jammu Kashmir and continue to take inputs from all necessary quarters, and decision-taking holding legislative assemblies in Jammu Kashmir will be taken soon. The Commission has also decided for more effective monitoring to appoint 3 special observers of Jammu Kashmir. Shri Noor Mohammed, IAS of 77 batch retired, IAS 77 batch retired. Shri A.S. Gill, IPS 72 batch, who retired as DG CRPF and also served as IG in Jammu Kashmir, in CRPF, in charge of Jammu Kashmir from 95 to 97. Shri Vinod Jutshi, 82 batch, who has served in the Election Commission for almost 6 to 7 years, and I think most of you know him as it is. Shri Noor Mohammed ji has occupied various positions like Secretary, National Disaster Management Authority, Member Secretary, NCR Planning Board, Chief Electoral Advisor, UNDP Kabul, International Election Commissioner, Afghanistan in the 2005 Parliament elections, Deputy Election Commissioner of India and Chief Electoral Officer, Uttar Pradesh, amongst other assignments. And Shri Gill, as I said, retired as DG CRPF. He remained DGP in Rajasthan, and he also was in Jammu Kashmir as IG CRPF from 95 to 97. Shri Jutsi he retired as Secretary Tourism, Government of India, and he remained in the Election Commission for a little over 7 years. These observers have been contacted by the Commission. They have kindly consented, and a meeting is scheduled by the Commission at 4 o'clock in the afternoon to go over the various modalities with the 3 honorable central observers.
Sir, just one confusion, sir.
Can I just finish? Yes. I'll just take. As far as the Commission has also taken into account the fact that the tenure of legislative assemblies of states of Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal, Odisha and Sikkim will expire on 18th June, 1st June, 11th June and 27th May. I repeat, Andhra 18th June, Arunachal 1st June, Odisha 11th June, Sikkim 27th May. After taking into account all these relevant factors, the Commission has decided to hold elections for these legislative assemblies for these 4 states simultaneously with the general elections to the 17th Lok Sabha. Elections to the different assembly constituencies in these states will follow the same schedule as for the corresponding parliamentary constituencies, that answers your question, of which these are relevant assembly segments. There are 34 casual vacancies, that is by-elections as we call it, in the legislative assemblies of 12 states as on 9th March 2019. the Commission has decided to hold by-elections to these 34 assembly constituencies following the same schedule as per the relevant parliamentary constituencies already read out to all of you. On the occasion of 17th Lok Sabha election, the Commission reassures the nation, all the stakeholders, of its solemn resolve and deep commitment to fulfill its constitutional mandate to conduct free, fair, credible and ethical elections. Commission appeals to the 11 million plus election machinery, directs the 11 million plus election machinery to rededicate themselves to the tasks associated with the conduct of elections as a sacred duty, as they have been doing election after election. Commission appeals to all the stakeholders and in particularly the political parties, the candidates, to uphold the democratic traditions of the nation by maintaining high standards of political discourse and fair play in course of the election campaigns. Commission also sends an appeal to all the voters to reinforce the democratic ethos of the nation by turning up at polling stations and exercise their right to vote in an informed and ethical manner, because the voters are the ultimate sovereigns in the democracy. Now I will take questions.
One clarification.
Sir,
Sir, can I have one
Your
clarification?
Request you, excuse me.
Yeah.
Let's go one by one. I'll
Yeah.
take from the left front
If-
row first.
I'll, before you start, you see, if we, 7 people raise hands, nobody will be able to listen. Let Shefali ji point out one after the other. And
I'll begin row-wise. I'll first begin with first row, left side.
I am on your right, on your left, front row. I'm George Kalivairil from Deepika Malayalam Daily. So my question is regarding VVPATs. You know, there was huge demand for VVPAT counting from various political parties and candidates. But somehow ECI never allowed counting of the VVPATs. And now, will you be at least counting VVPATs at least in the half or wherever candidates or political parties demand?
you see, the political parties have given us a memorandum to this effect. I'll not hedge behind the fact that the matter is already pending before the Honorable Supreme Court. Let me just finish, please. I'll take 2 minutes to answer this. The Commission had started counting 1 VVPAT per assembly constituency. And now when the political parties and other stakeholders started raising the issue of counting more VVPATs, the Commission has appointed a high-powered committee of Indian Statistical Institute who are already looking into it. The Commission expects the report to come anytime, certainly before the poll process is over. And the Commission will then discuss the report within the Commission and take a view which will then be kind of mentioned, all of you, by us.
Sir, Suchitra here from News8 in Tamil. And sir, what about the Tamil Nadu by-poll elections? So will it not be conducted?
Yes, they will be conducted. Along with
Lok Sabha?
all by-polls, I repeat, all by-polls as pending on 9th March shall be conducted with the elections to the...
सर गुजरात में भी बाई पोल है 5 सीटों पे.
आप कृपया मुझे सिग्नलाइज करने दें.
When I said all by-polls, I mean all by-polls.
Sir, Santosh.
Please hold on. I'll just take it to right side, Santosh.
सर मेरे 2 क्वेश्चंस हैं. एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि
She has asked him that will
जितने
come to you.
One by one.
क्या मैं पूछ
You
सकता हूँ
have
सर?
just announced that. I have read it 4 or 5 times.
You said in 9th March.
Please
What is
hold
the
on.
exact
Right
clarity,
now,
sir? It's
if
not
you
clarity.
carry on like this, we'll not be able to take any questions then.
Sir, Santosh from Lokmat newspaper. Here, sir. Sir, I have two questions. एक सर ये कि पिछले चुनाव में और अभी विधानसभा चुनावों में देखा गया सभी लोगों के पास आजकल मोबाइल है। आपने बाकी फैसिलिटी दी है मतदान केंद्रों पे, लेकिन मोबाइल जमा कराने की फैसिलिटी नहीं है। तो क्या इस बारी होंगी? और दूसरा सवाल है सर कि ये जो साइलेंट पीरियड है 48 आवर्स का, सोशल मीडिया पे उसकी निगरानी कैसे होगी? आप सेंट्रलाइज करेंगे या स्टेट वाइज होगा या डिस्ट्रिक्ट वाइज होगा?
I'll take you. Sorry. Let me know. मोबाइल का जरा क्वेश्चन रिपीट करिए।
सर मोबाइल का क्वेश्चन ये था कि अब सभी के पास मोबाइल है, लोग मतदान केंद्रों पे जाते हैं मोबाइल लेकर, लेकिन आपने बाकी सुविधाएं दी है, मोबाइल जमा कराने की सुविधा वहां नहीं होती है, जिससे
We'll try to do something about it.
Thank you. And sir, second question, the silent
No,
period.
he has asked 2 questions.
Yeah, the second question
The
is
second-
about silent period. How you will monitor social media during the silent period?
I have already given you
Allow नहीं करेंगे ना, देख नहीं रहे।
detailed narrative.
किसी को allow नहीं कर रहे हैं।
No, one second.
आप
अपने मन से
सवाल
Can you- can
पूछ
you
रहे हैं तो
please-
जवाब सुनिए जरा, बीच में ना
Please
बोलें
allow me to
प्लीज।
finish this answer first. On the social media, in my main statement, I have already given a detailed narrative. And I have also said that certain things are work in motion. In addition, there is another matter going on in the Honorable Bombay High Court, which is listed in the very near future. So keeping all these things in view and through our MCMCs and the undertaking, the quantum of undertaking given by some of the social media platforms by themselves in writing through their associations, we will try and monitor it.
To the right, Neeraj
बता
here.
दीजिए स्टेट के बाईपोल, स्टेट असेंबलीज के जो बाईपोल हैं सर, उसका डेट एक बार और बता दीजिए।
सर
आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
सर मैं सर तब तक इधर से
Sir, this is Swati Chandrasekhar from TV5.
Just a
Hey,
minute.
let
sir.
Shefali point out. Let her point out. One
Sir,
question
this is
has already
Swati
started.
Chandrasekhar from TV5.
हेलो
चुनाव नहीं करा रहा है, अनंतनाग में उपचुनाव नहीं हुआ। दूसरा सवाल यह है कि हाल के जितने भी लोकसभा चुनाव हुए पिछले 3-4 बार में, उसमें कभी भी उड़ीसा में 4 फेज नहीं रखा गया। तो 2 सवाल है कि आप उपचुनाव नहीं करा पाए, लोकसभा चुनाव करा रहे, विधानसभा नहीं जम्मू कश्मीर में, और दूसरा यह कि उड़ीसा में 4 फेज क्यों है?
मैं आपके दोनों प्रश्नों का एक-एक करके उत्तर देता हूं। I'll reply one by one. About Jammu, about Odisha, as I told you, we have kind of, if you have seen this pattern closely, or if you study it more closely, we have tried to cover left-wing affected areas of various states at one go. That is the pattern. And in that pattern, whichever states fall, because once the left-wing affected states get covered, which require much more force, then those forces can move to other areas. And there is no particular, the timing of elections, as I said, as I read in the very beginning, depends on several factors, in fact a combination of factors, and most important being the availability of central forces, the timing when they are available, and the time taken for their movement from one place to the other and settling down for area domination.
Your follow-up question there.
Swati
Just
Chandrasekhar
remember
from
the
TV5.
central block follow-up question on
Sorry,
the same.
your question about Jammu Kashmir. I'm sorry. Jammu Kashmir, one second. That second part is not finished. Jammu Kashmir, we have, even आपने अनंतनाग का specific question पूछा. By the way, अनंतनाग एक parliamentary constituency में, जब मैंने अभी पढ़ के सुनाया तो केवल एक parliamentary constituency में 3 फेज में इलेक्शन हो रहा है, 3 phases. और जम्मू कश्मीर कि पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज भी चाहती हैं चुनाव होना। मैंने तो पहले जब वहाँ से हम आए थे तब भी हम लोगों ने प्रेस में शेयर किया था, लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम जब पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज ने बात बार बार ये भी कही साथ जब मिलने आए, जो बात हमने ज़्यादा नहीं कही कि हमारी सिक्योरिटी का क्या होगा, हमारी सिक्योरिटी का क्या होगा। और आई कैनॉट रिवील हाउ मेनी पीपल आर पुट विद वन असेंबली कैंडिडेट, but the number is sizable because they have to put people, security people with the candidate at his residence or at his or her office. And therefore, keeping the totality of things in view, और जम्मू कश्मीर से चुके अब forces कुछ, rather we've got some Naxalite area की इस तरह से systematic planning करने से, और जम्मू कश्मीर में हमने 3 ऑब्जर्वर एक स्टेट के लिए इस लेवल के भेज रहे हैं ताकि वो सिचुएशन में कुछ भी परिवर्तन आए, आधारभूत सिचुएशन में वो उनकी निगाहों से कमीशन व्यू लेके जम्मू कश्मीर का चुनाव कराएगा।
सर बात के बाइपोल का डेट क्या है? सर मैं अनुज अग्रवाल।
Sir, Swati Chandrasekhar from TV5. Sir, why 2 phases for Karnataka? Before also there's been only 1 phase for Karnataka, but this time why 2 phases for Karnataka? Here to your towards your right, the 3rd row. And my second question is, how are you going to curb the publishing of political parties in social media, because it's not only the political parties that's going to publish news or advertisements in social media, it's also going to be from the general public. And my first question is, why 2 phases for Karnataka? Because even before there has been only for 28 constituencies. What is the logic behind this? When for Tamil Nadu it is 39 constituencies in 1 phase, but 28 constituencies of Karnataka for 2 phases.
Sir, one related question, sir.
Let her please respond. Just.
She has asked 3 questions. Okay. आपने 3
याद हो जाए।
உலகின் மிகப்பெரிய ஜனநாயக திருவிழாவான இந்திய நாடாளுமன்றத்திற்கான தேர்தல் தேதி அறிவிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஏப்ரல் 18ஆம் தேதி தமிழகம் மற்றும் புதுச்சேரியில் ஒரே கட்டமாக தேர்தல் நடைபெற இருக்கிறது. நாடாளுமன்ற தொகுதிகளுக்கு மட்டுமல்லாமல் 21 தொகுதி இடைத்தேர்தலும் நடைபெறும் என்று அறிவிப்பு வெளியாகி இருக்கிறது. கருத்துக்களை தெரிவிப்பதற்காக அம்மா மக்கள் முன்னேற்ற கழகத்திலிருந்து திரு தங்க தமிழ்ச்செல்வன் இணைந்திருக்கிறார். சார் வணக்கம். தமிழகத்தில் நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தலோடு சேர்ந்து 21 தொகுதி இடைத்தேர்தலும் வர இருக்கிறது. இந்த இடைத்தேர்தலும் நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தலும் யாருக்கு சாதகமாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு தங்க தமிழ்ச்செல்வன் பார்க்கிறார்?
அதாவது கருத்து கணிப்புகள் கூட்டணி பற்றி இது வரைக்கும் பேசிட்டு இருந்தான். இப்ப தேர்தல் தேதி அறிவிச்சிட்டாங்க. இந்த தேர்தலில் யாருக்கு வெற்றி கிடைக்கும்ன்றது அப்ப மக்களோட எதிர்பார்ப்பு. அந்த வகையில பார்க்கும்போது இன்னைக்கு தமிழ்நாட்டில் அம்மா மக்கள் முன்னேற்ற கழகம் தான் வெற்றி பெறும்ன்ற ஒரு சூழ்நிலை இருக்கு. நிச்சயமா 40 நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தலையும் 21 சட்டமன்ற இடைத்தேர்தலையும் அம்மா மக்கள் முன்னேற்ற கழகம் வெற்றி பெறும்.
மிக்க நன்றி திரு தங்க தமிழ்ச்செல்வன். தொடர்ந்து அதிமுகவிலிருந்து திரு வைகை செல்வன் இணைந்திருக்கிறார். சார் வணக்கம். வைகை செல்வனுடைய இணைப்பு துண்டிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. மீண்டும் அவரை தொடர்பு கொள்ள முயற்சிக்கலாம்.
On the social media front, if they did not appear before the Parliamentary Standing Committee as reported in the media, it is for the Honorable Standing Committee to take action, not for me to comment. Not for the EC to comment on that.
सर मेरा सवाल इधर सर मेरा सवाल है पोस्टर को लेकर। कल जिस तरह से एक खबर आई कि पोस्टर में सेना के जवानों की तस्वीर इस्तेमाल की जा रही है, उसके बाद एक स्टेटमेंट जारी हुआ। मेरा सवाल ये है कि क्या इस तरह का कोई स्टेटमेंट के बावजूद अगर कोई नेता या फिर कोई जो कैंडिडेट है अगर इस तरह का चीज इस्तेमाल करता है तो उसके खिलाफ क्या कार्रवाई की जाएगी चुनाव आयोग की तरफ से?
सर इधर 1 second please. Now we have combined 5 questions almost. Let me give you answers one by one. Karnataka, I have replied to you. Face the part.
मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं मिला है। मुस्लिम वोटों के ध्रुवीकरण और मैंने आपसे पूछा था कि स्टैंडिंग
मैंने कहा कि 5 क्वेश्चन आप लोगों ने पूछे हैं, लेट मी रिप्लाई वन बाय वन।
सर
उसके बाद फिर 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 तक जाएंगे ना।
और सर यदि एफबी और गूगल आपकी बात नहीं सुनेगा तो आप क्या करेंगे? मेरा सवाल ये था आपसे।
सॉरी,
यदि एफबी, गूगल, व्हाट्सएप, ट्विटर आपकी बात भी नहीं सुनेंगे तो इलेक्शन कमीशन क्या करेगा?
தமிழகம் மற்றும் புதுச்சேரிக்கு ஒரே கட்டமாக நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தல் மற்றும் 21 தொகுதி சட்டமன்றத்திற்கான இடைத்தேர்தலும் நடைபெற இருக்கிறது. கருத்துக்களை தெரிவிப்பதற்காக திமுகவினுடைய சட்டமன்ற உறுப்பினர் திரு ஜே அன்பழகன் இணைந்திருக்கிறார். சார் வணக்கம். தற்பொழுது ஏப்ரல் 18ஆம் தேதி தமிழகத்தில் நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தலும் 21 தொகுதிகளுக்கான சட்டமன்ற இடைத்தேர்தலும் வர இருக்கிறது. இதை திமுக எப்படி எதிர்கொள்ள காத்திருக்கிறது? ஏன்னா அதிமுக வந்து அவங்களுடைய ஒப்பந்தத்திலேயே சட்டமன்ற இடைத்தேர்தலுக்கான ஒப்பந்தத்தையும் சேர்த்து அவங்க வந்து ஒப்பந்தமிட்டு இருக்கிறாங்க. ஆனால் திமுகவை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் இன்னும் அதை பற்றி எந்த விதமான ஒரு கொள்கை முடிவும் எடுக்காம இருக்கிறது. நீங்க தயாரா இருக்கிறீங்களா?
தயாரா இருக்கு. நாங்க தான் இன்டர்வியூலாம் நேர்த்தியே பண்ணி முடிச்சிட்டோம். 21 தொகுதிக்கு பண்ணிட்டோம். அதனால ஒன்றும் எங்களுக்கு வந்து தேர்தல் தேதி அறிவிச்சது வந்து வரவேற்கத்தக்க ஒரு விஷயம்தான். இடைத்தேர்தலும் சேர்ந்து வர்றது உண்மையிலேயே வரவேற்கத்தக்க ஒரு விஷயம். ரெண்டாவது வந்து இந்த தேர்தல்னால மத்தியிலேயும் மாநிலத்திலும் கூட ஆட்சி மாற்றம் ஏற்படுவதற்கு பெரிய வழிவகுப்பும் இந்த இடைத்தேர்தல். ஆகவே எங்களுடைய கூட்டணியில 21 இடைத்தேர்தலுக்கான வேட்பாளரையும் சேர்த்துதான் அறிவிப்பாங்க.
கண்டிப்பாக திமுகவினுடைய நம்பிக்கையை நீங்க வந்து சொல்லியிருக்கிறீங்க. அதே சமயத்துல நாடாளுமன்ற தேர்தல் மற்றும் இடைத்தேர்தல் இரண்டுமே ஒரே சமயத்தில் நடக்கிறதன் காரணமாக தமிழகத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் யாருக்கு இது அதிக அளவு பலத்தை கொடுக்கும்னு திரு ஜே அன்பழகன் பார்க்கிறார்?
பலம் இல்ல, பொதுவா மத்திய மாநில அரசுகளை வீழ்த்தணும் என்பதுதான் எங்களுடைய அணியின் நோக்கம். மாநில மத்திய அரசுகளை வீழ்த்துவதுதான் எங்களுடைய அணியின் நோக்கம். இப்ப மத்தியில ஆட்சி மாற்றத்தை ஏற்படுத்த வேண்டும் என்பதும் பாசிச ஆட்சியை விரட்ட வேண்டும் என்பதும் நாடு தழுவிய அளவிலே இருக்கிற ஒரு பிரச்சாரம். மாநில அளவிலே இருக்கிற எங்க மாநில கட்சி, நாங்க திராவிட முன்னேற்ற கழகம் ஒரு மாநில கட்சி. ஆக மாநில அளவில் இந்த ஆட்சியை மாற்றி காட்ட வேண்டும் என்று 1.5 ஆண்டுகளாக ஜனநாயக ரீதியில் நாங்கள் போராடி கொண்டிருக்கிறோம். இங்கே வந்து எம்எல்ஏக்களை எல்லாம் டிஸ்மிஸ் செய்து கோர்ட் மூலமாக அதை நியாயப்படுத்தி மத்திய அரசு மூலமாக அதை காலங்கடத்தி, ஆகவே இது ஒரு கட்டம் ஜனநாயகத்தின் மீது சவால் விடுகிற அளவிற்கு இந்த அரசாங்கம் நடந்த காரணத்தினால் இந்த 18 மற்றும் காலியாக இருக்கிற இறந்து போனவர்களுடைய தொகுதிகள் எல்லாம் சேர்த்து 21 சட்டமன்றத்திற்கும் தேர்தல் வந்தால் நிச்சயமாக மாநில அரசும் மாற்றக்கூடிய அளவுக்கான மக்கள் ஒரு முடிவை எடுப்பதற்கு ஒரு வசதி, மக்களுடைய முடிவுதான் இறுதி முடிவு. ஆகவே மக்கள் நிச்சயம் இந்த ஆட்சியை மாற்ற வேண்டும் என்று சொன்னால் 21 தொகுதியிலும் மக்கள் இந்த ஆட்சிக்கு எதிராக வாக்களிப்பார்களேயானால் இந்த அரசும் மாற்றப்படும், மத்தியிலேயும் மாற்றப்படும் என்கிற நம்பிக்கையோடு தான் நாங்கள் தேர்தல் களத்தில்.
கண்டிப்பாக உங்களுடைய நம்பிக்கை இருந்தாலும் அதற்கான விடை வந்து மே 23ஆம் தேதி தெரிய வரும். கருத்துக்களை நியூஸ் 7 தமிழோடு பகிர்ந்து கொண்டதுக்கு மிக்க நன்றி திரு ஜே அன்பழகன்.
நன்றி நன்றி.
We got it examined legally immediately. We already have a provision which was yesterday night. Most of you should have got it. We have formally reiterated those instructions as a part of MCC to the general secretaries of all the political parties, national or state. And that instruction is coming into force now from as we are speaking and talking to each other. I will request my team. I was told that yesterday night these instructions were sent to each and every newspaper, but I will still request my team to tweet it just now to all of you for your perusal. That is a part of MCC that has been reiterated, and in the covering letter itself it has been mentioned that we will take as strict an action in this as we take for violation of any provision of MCC.